Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pass the Syrup. We're going to pass the syrup around some of that agency waffle floating around estate agency land. Today, I am joined by three more fantastic guests. Some of the best backgrounds we've absolutely ever had on the show for a start, including one of my children's work there because I'm working from home. Sterile looking room. I appreciate it. Oh, and here comes the sun. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Anyway, over to the guests. First up, Mr. Hat and Home. Ben Gee, 21 years experience, runs the 4-branch Hat and Home business in Berkshire. Amazing business and really, really, really sexy marketing. The only thing more sexy in the marketing, as we all know, is the beard. Ben, how's it going?
Very good, Ben. Thanks for the intro. The beard seems to get referenced more than the agency these days.
Listen, it's breathtaking. That's all I can say. It's breathtaking. Beard and brand and recent marketing campaign, which hopefully we can discuss a little bit later on. Really, really brilliant, mate. Next up, for me, Mr. EXP. I mean, we've had Adam Day on, and there's a lot of really well-known characters in EXP. But when I think of EXP, I think of lean, mean, how many hundreds of miles on a bike, Mr. Scott Gunn, 4 years of EXP, 20 years estate agency experience. You wouldn't believe it to look at him, and working from easily the best home office I've ever seen. How are you, Scott?
No, feeling good, especially after that introduction. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, listen, you're welcome. Sarah, though, is going to steal the limelight because in Sarah, we've got a genuine intellect. Sarah is an ACC accountant by trade, or what used to be, has been in agency for 8 years, currently a regional director for Seager and Co in Essex. But someone with a genuine education, or I don't know what the right language here is, but us lowly estate agents are not used to interacting with you high grade operators. Sarah, how are you?
I'm fine. But can you believe I've picked the two most vocations that are most hated? So you've got an accountant and an estate agent, and I picked both of them.
I don't know. I mean, I could see you. I could see you as a traffic warden. You know, doing around West London. That we always used to reference. If I was an estate agent, I'd be a traffic warden. Although that was like 20 years ago. I think the world's come a long way. We're still not loved, but yeah, I see your point. Yeah, accountants.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, at least you're not a conveyancer, I guess.
No, oh God, yeah, exactly. That's my next forte.
Nice, doing the rounds. You're a glutton.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we are going to go for something spectacular. It's a 45-minute podcast. Now, normally they last an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, but we've got time constraints, which means we're going to go 100 miles an hour. Or it means the last 5 minutes, we're just going to 100 miles an hour. We're just going to waffle on until then. Let's see how we go. So first up, let's get into our first subject. Our new subject this week that we're going to cover. So it's in the trade press, I think last week. The headline was, is this the end of the road for portals? So to paraphrase, it was a piece that was put together by comms agency, communications agency, Oracle, in partnership with YouGov. YouGov produced masses and masses of data, and businesses can tap into that data. Featuring in the trade press quite regularly at the moment, different businesses using the YouGov data. What they discovered is that the 18 to 24-year-old bracket, which is Gen Z, I had to look that up. I almost said Gen Z, like we even have the letter Z in this country. Gen Z, so mid-90s to mid-10s, they're not so interested in websites like Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, that sort of thing. What's referenced, which is really interesting, is they would rather consider reviews, they would rather consider recommendations or direct interactions. Only 28% of 18 to 24-year-olds see those portals that I just referenced as the source of information they would choose to use. Now, let me just caveat, they're talking about buyers and renters as opposed to sellers and landlords. In the piece, doesn't get into that, into a great deal of who the client base might be. And you know what? Rather than me frame it up, let's see what you guys think. Ben, what do you think? End of the road for portals? Is it all change?
Don't think it's quite the end of the road yet, but I think they've got a genuine point here. I think the younger generation who probably aren't our customers quite yet, 18 to 24-year-olds, yes, they're buying, yes, they're renting, but the overwhelming majority of all of our customers are older than that. They're not using websites like we use them. It's as simple as that. You know, my children don't even use WhatsApp, and we think WhatsApps are moving on from the days of SMS. You know, I think that portals need to change. Because frankly, they're not good enough at the moment. And if they want to keep up with the younger generation who are going to be our customers over the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to have to do something to change because they're just not very engaging for them. You know, we got to look at how TikTok's coming into play. It's gone massive. How YouTube's coming into play. That's absolutely massive as well. And I think, you know, sites like Rightmove, as much as we need them at the moment. We of course we need them. We can't do without them. They're not fit for purpose for now, for getting the next generation.
So I think last time I referenced Rightmove, I looked up the data. They're the 6th most visited website in the UK, which is just astonishing. What a beast that is. You look at the number of users and the amount of interactions. I think when I think of Rightmove, I think of it as the first place the consumer starts their property journey most of the time. You know, it's a sweeping statement, but Rightmove portals not fit for purpose, except where's the incentive for them to change? They've got, you know, I mean, specifically Rightmove, such dominance. Sarah, what do you think? Is there change on the horizon? Are they going to?
There is. I'm noticing a change, and again, following trend with the social media. I've been doing this social media thing through COVID. I've sold a few houses through COVID when we first hit COVID in 2020, and from then bounced off from that. Rightmove, with the sellers, going back to sellers, they are wanting to see that exposure on Rightmove predominantly. If they don't see it, and I convince them when I'm going out on valuations, look, this is the new way. You know, we've got younger generations that are going on social media. Everything's done, you know, similar to what the guys at EXP and the self-employed agents. You're out there on social media, or in front of a camera, and you're doing this. It's more excitable. When you've got something that's on just a portal and it's boring, it's bland, if you jazz things up and you love each property that you're selling, those buyers will buy into that more, and it's more personal. As I said, the portals, and they charge the earth. I just think going forward, it's the new way. What we're doing now is predominantly in front of a camera and advertising it and doing that exposure, like the TikToks and, you know, all of that. That's the way I'm selling stuff at the moment. You know, you're selling it. Where have you seen the property? And I'm getting my market research, and people are saying, "Oh, I didn't see it on Rightmove. I saw your video. I didn't see it from that. I saw it on here." So it's bouncing away from the portal. So I'm not seeing people saying, "I want it on Rightmove. I've seen it on Rightmove or on the market or Zoopla." It's just mainly videos for me that are doing it.
Okay, that's interesting. So I think regionally and from area to area. Certainly in the Finding Country network, we see lots of really great quality work across social media, across digital marketing, across use of videography. And of course, the unspoken, or maybe it is spoken about, but maybe off camera, benefit to doing all that work is it's hugely beneficial to the agent as well. To do all that, it helps grow your business. And we've had conversations at previous businesses in the past where people say, well, are you working for the client or are you working for you? Well, I think the bigger and better and stronger your business becomes, the better you're able to serve your client, be it current, future, whatever it may be. Scott, what do you think? Social, I mean, based on what Sarah said, I think Sarah could probably turn Rightmove off. She's selling everything through social media. What do you think? We could just give Rightmove.
As our mutual friend Harry proved, you can swim to France if you want to, but it's much easier going by boat. And it's much quicker and more efficient going by boat. As much as I tip my hat to his achievement, but I think if we ask the question, you know, for me that's what Rightmove does. You know, so quicker access to market. If we ask ourselves the question, what does a buyer want? What a buyer wants is they want to look up Margate, where I live, and they want to see every single property in one place that's for sale. That's what a buyer wants. They don't want to look through 10, 12 different agents' TikTok feeds, or look through their Instagrams, or look through their Facebooks. They want to be able to go through a list in chronological order or price order and make sure they don't miss out on anything. That's what buyers want. So I actually didn't realize we were going to be talking about this topic, but if you look, I've commented on Pi and my only comment was, are the portals dead? My response was no.
So let me ask you this, right? Because you know, I can empathize with everybody's position here. Sarah made a comment about the cost of the portals, and that I think is, you know, what most agents have a bee in their bonnet about. the costs increase, but they don't see a lot of differentiation, a lot of progression in what the portal does. Scott, do you think people would be so anti? Let's use Rightmove because that's the one that gets a lot of the gripe. Would they be anti Rightmove if it was free? Would agents hate Rightmove if it was free?
Exactly. So it's all coming down to costs, isn't it? Right. So we literally
Yes.
take the cost. If it's 500 quid, you'd have it. Charge you £4
Yeah.
grand, you won't. Somewhere in the middle is a sweet spot, and that's what Rightmove are always trying to find. I'm going to throw a curveball in here and say that Zoopla are the ones that are being let off the hook with this, because they charge less than Rightmove. No one ever brings them up. The website's shit.
Yeah.
You don't get any leads from it.
It's
So what
true.
we all do, what we all do as agents is we all pay a very, very good price to be on Rightmove. Okay, it's a generous amount of money, still less than the papers used to cost, and you could only get 24 of those in every week of your 100 listings or whatever. It's still better
Yeah.
value than the newspapers used to be. But regardless, Zoopla's the ones that get let off the hook here because we only pay them £500 or £600 a month. No one ever talks about them, but you don't get
Yeah.
any leads. And the Zoopla leads you do get,
They're dead.
where we go, yeah, I've got a Zoopla lead.
Yeah.
They'd have come through Rightmove anyway if you weren't on Zoopla. I guarantee that
Yeah.
much.
So I'll play devil's advocate because I think that's probably my role here. Zoopla works regionally. So in some, for instance, our old business, we had 5 branches. One of our branches, the strongest performing portal was Zoopla. It just was. And we used to we weren't super geeks. What's the reason? Why is Zoopla performing well in that area versus the other 4 where Rightmove is the main lead source for new buyer inquiries? And the Zoopla rep believed that it was when Zoopla went live, they spent more money marketing into that area, and they had more people that lived in that area that had the Zoopla app on their phone, and so they would reuse it and use it and use it. Rightmove got the monopoly on portal apps. They're on more phone apps than anyone else. But you're right, Zoopla very nicely just float under the surface, just getting away with, it's unfair to say murder because actually, I'm a massive fan of Rightmove. If I own the business, I'd be flying everywhere. What a commercial operation. And actually, it's been hugely valuable in the last 20 years of business. I can't think of, other than the phone, I can't think of something that's benefited me or worked better for me in terms of helping generate business. It's not inbound leads for prospective clients. We don't get any of that, but buyers, prospective tenants, absolutely. In their thousands, it's been really, really beneficial. So, I've got to be careful because I host this podcast and most agents hate Rightmove, but I've said it. I like them. It's like
most agents hate their CRM until you take it away. As soon as you replace a CRM everyone moans about, the best CRM they ever had is the one you just took away. So let's all these agents that are moaning about Rightmove, let's take it away from them for a month and then watch them fall in love again.
Well, yeah, there's a few people.
Yeah.
Go on, Ben. You look like you're ready to.
Well, I think going back to what this research is talking about, it's not about whether there's a need for a portal or whether agents hate it or not. What they're saying is that the way that young people want to engage now is not through websites and not in the current website form that it is. And I think Scott mentioned papers. That's how we used to do it. Back when we all started. And essentially, what Rightmove do, they're a paper online. There's nothing innovative about what they do at the moment. I think what needs to change is not whether there's a portal. Of course, we need all our properties in one place. So that's absolutely essential to give people choice. And we all know that people don't buy the property that they inquire about. They buy the one that that they see online or that we show them because we're good agents. But what we've got to do is offer them something more. If people want more video, they want more interaction, they want much more clever search facilities than are available at the moment. And being able to search by bedrooms and distance or radius is just ridiculous. So I think that's what they're saying. They're saying, of course the portals aren't dead, but they need to change. I think that's the point if they're going to keep up with young people coming through.
It's stuff that we're doing on the sidelines, with the social, because something I'd never considered previously is maybe where our socials would be possibly closer to the alternative to the newspaper because it attracts maybe people who weren't sure they were looking, and that's what we used to get a lot back when, I guess we've all worked in offices before. You almost get people come in and go, we've only just moved in a year ago and then I saw that one in the window, which is what the window used to do that now maybe Rightmove doesn't, because you have to actively search on Rightmove. So you have to have made a decision to go and look at what's available in your area. I think maybe that's where the portals work really nicely alongside the socials, is that the socials can surprise somebody and pop up in somebody's feed, and they might unintentionally make an unplanned move or a move a little bit earlier than they were planning to. And maybe that's a shortfall of the portals, is you have to actively go and look on there as an active purchaser.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. We regard sort of buyers in two categories. The vast majority of our work from a buyer perspective is active buyers, people that are actively looking. And then you've got your passive buyers who are exactly that. They see something they love, or I've always wanted to live on that road, or top end of the market, it might be sort of ultra high net worth individuals that see something and think, yeah, we'll go for that. I mean, that's, just to be clear, that's not happening every week. But yeah, I think the brand awareness piece, also the brand awareness marketing that we do so much of it, of all of us on social, across digital, it targets an audience that, Rightmove and the portals don't. So what I'm most interested in about this piece, and I think Ben was just touching on it really, is what's the transition? I mean, I know we don't necessarily have the answer, but someone who's 18 now, what does the world look like in 10 years to them when they want to be searching? What is, let me give you an example. Flying home yesterday, I was on some sort of social media platform, sitting in the airport lounge. We were delayed, and somehow I was being targeted by Ryanair. Says a lot about who we fly with. Their social media is hilarious. I did not see it coming. It's not going to fit for everyone's brand, but I don't know if you've seen it, but all they do is poke and dig at their customer base. They just make fun of people complaining. It's genuinely funny. And you know what? Ryanair is now going to be forever ingrained. It's clever, very, very clever marketing. And if I was looking for a cheap flight at that moment in time, they'd have got me. Absolutely. Really clever, really different way of targeting people. I never would have thought that would work. I'm not saying that is the way to go with agency, but I do wonder what is the transition when, was it On the Market? They went through a period of using influencers to try and drive their business and grow on YouTube, and it sort of didn't necessarily take off. But that I think is an area that's going to be really interesting over the next few years.
I think the transition is going to be about how people search. You know, if you think about what people do now, it's all about AI, and that's the way it's going to go. You know, we're not going to be tapping into Rightmove or any other portal. I'm looking for 2 beds in this postcode. We're going to be talking to the portal, saying, you know, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom house with equal sized bedrooms with a nice south facing garden. Show me what you've got. And if the portals can keep up with how people search like that, then that could be quite powerful. That's the way I think it's going to go.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the thing, though. You've nailed it. AI, in essence, could simply replace Rightmove. Yeah, because appropriate AI will be able to. The next version of ChatGPT, supposedly by the end of the year, is up to date on the internet. It will be able to search through exactly what you're looking for, and it will pull data from every possible data source and won't actually need Rightmove for it, because everyone's website.
There's one interesting issue with that, because it's they reckon dating sites are doing the same thing, right? In that, as we've all said, most people don't end up dating someone that if they'd have been given a tick list before they went through and wrote down the top 10 things that they required before they go out on a date, right? Most of us don't. I know for a fact my wife didn't marry someone who ticked all 10 of her boxes. Absolutely guarantee that.
Lucky to get 2.
Luckily, I ticked enough boxes to get her out on a date, and then over 3 or 4 dates, I managed to advance things a little bit. But you know, I think that's maybe the thing, is that AI is interesting because that could get to know us better than we know ourselves. You know, that's going to know what we looked at on Pinterest. Frankly, is going to know the conversations we have with people. You know, those conversations you have with your partner about why you might want to move home. It's going to be listening in. Bizarre to be talking about, because I'm a technophobe, but
really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Look, I've got my notes for today here. I kind of put pen and paper. And the thing is, this AI thing, no matter what, it just can't be ignored.
No, it will completely change the landscape. It's really exciting. We're at generation 1. We're at stage 1 of what it's going to look like. Imagine the world in 20-25 years. It's going to be so different.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To be fair,
I think it's exciting.
I love all of that.
I think one of the challenges we've got is that as an industry, we've never been very progressive. We're always a bit on the about 20 years behind a lot of other industries. So actually, it's going to be the thought leaders now who take that and drive it forward who will come out stronger in 20 years.
Yeah. A really good quote. Someone else, much more intelligent than me. Don't be worried about AI. Be worried about the great agents that start using AI. That's who's going to replace you. Not, AI is not It's not going to take. Oh, well, it might take over the world. I heard a few podcasts that said it could, but it's not going to take over a state agency. But yeah, what a tool it could be if used correctly. Right, not bad. That's well, we've done our news piece in 15 odd minutes. This is great work, team. Next up, I'm going to show you the social hand grenade. Oh, you know what I have to do? I have to say, anyone who's watching right now, like, engage, subscribe, comment, anything. Every week I do it right at the end when everyone's already turned off because they know it's the end. I've got to get better at this side of things. Show us some love. If you love Scott's work from home space, let us know. If you're in love with Ben's beard, of course, comment. If you want to become an accountant, let Sarah know. Whatever it might be, just get involved. Give us some love. So next up, I'm going to do our new feature, the social hand grenade. So I don't reference the person who posted this on social. You may know, we all know each other. Let's not pretend we don't. The guys that have got a lot to say on social media. But I'll share it with you. I thought it was a really interesting post, and it got really good interactions. And I'd love your feedback. What do you think on this? Is your name worth more than your bank balance? In brackets, like a poll, but crucially, not a poll, because this person hates polls, which does make me laugh. Sarah, I'm going to start with you. What do you? This got really good interactions. What do you think? Is your name or your bank balance? Yeah, because it's sort of a question about what's more important.
To me, my name sells itself with my surname. I've got Gift of the Gabb, and my surname's Gabb. Okay, so my name actually sells itself without me even opening my mouth. The bank balance, it comes over time. So I think if you put your name out, my name is worth more than what I've got in the bank. Let's put it that way. That's my view on it, and that's my opinion on me. Other people may differ, but I've just found with my name comes afterwards the money, the balance grows without even me lifting a finger. But as I say, it's the gift of the gab, isn't it? So
yeah, I can't honestly. I must be tired because I can't believe I didn't spot that before you referenced it. Okay, gift of the gab. I like Scott. What do you think? What's more important, bank balance, your name? You're big on personal brand.
Yeah, I'm hoping my name is worth more than my bank balance because my bank balance most of the time is quite depressing. But I do like to live well. Yeah, no, look. I mean, I think the answer to that for me would be that you can improve your bank balance quickly. You can destroy it even quicker.
Yeah.
But I guess once your reputation is tarnished, it's very, very difficult to repair that. So yeah, I'm going to go with your name being more important than your bank balance.
Okay. All right. Ben, what do you reckon?
I think that's absolutely right. I think it's a reference there, isn't it, to how much are you prepared to give on your name, on your reputation in favour of your bank balance. And I think the moment you do that, you're absolutely stuffed. So I think Sarah's bang on. If you do everything right and you're true and got good integrity and you've got a good reputation, a good name out there, everything else will come. But I know plenty of people who would happily tarnish their name. Tarnish their name in view of the payday. Yeah, there you go. I was trying to find a polite way of saying it.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, because what I would say that those three responses, which I agree with, sensible. Your name lives longer than your bank balance and can take you further. Except there were some really interesting comments around bank balance. Someone said something. I think it was, well, if I had 10 million in the bank, you call me whatever you want. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I sort of see where you're coming from there. I'll go live on an island. You never see me again. Don't worry about my name. There are a few fires back at that. You could lose your money overnight. Money could not be what. It depends what you're looking for in life, I guess. But as a group here right now of people that I think take the industry quite seriously, networking seriously, contribute to their community, take that seriously. I guess I've probably not picked the best social hand grenade to ask you guys, because we're going to completely agree. You know what? We're flying. We're doing so well. I'm going to ask another one. Because we've got through so quickly, and I saw a second. I'm going to pull this up and see if you agree with this one. Let's share this one with you and see if you agree. See if we get a bit of a differing opinion on this. The most powerful local marketing tool your estate agent has is its for sale or to let signs. Make sure it stands out.
Bang on.
Bang on.
Oh, right, bang on. Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's bollocks.
Go on,
I think
Sarah.
it's absolute
go.
nonsense.
Go on, Ben.
Well, it's simple. You know, brand recognition, brand awareness is vital. And what better way than to be driving past a for sale, a to let board, a sold board, you know, every day. It's there 24 hours a day. It stands out.
Right.
People look at them. People notice them. People talk about them. You get called in because of your boards all the time. Or we certainly do. We've got some really distinctive boards. We have 4 different colours. It's just a big bowler hat. You know, it always makes me laugh. I look at for sale signs all the time. I'm sure you guys do as well. When people have got loads of stuff on there, tiny writing, just, you know, it's got to be reflective of your brand, and you've got to have a good brand. But, you know, when we launch an office, we do something where we either partner with a local school, or we got a load of people we know in the area, and we put up boards outside people's houses that aren't for sale or to let, but they simply say hello. So we're just opening in Sandhurst, a place called Sandhurst. It will say hello Sandhurst on the board. We do it because they're powerful. So when I first launched Hat and Home, nobody knew who Hat and Home were. Absolutely, we hadn't done a thing yet, but we put 50 boards up in Wokingham saying hello Wokingham, and suddenly you've got a brand that's being noticed straight away. It's single-handedly the most powerful tool, and one of the reasons is it's seen by people who aren't looking, seen by people who aren't selling, seen by people who aren't renting. It's just seen all the time, and you can't help but talk about them.
Okay, I like it. I think that's very specific to you, Ben. You can't help but
talk
about
wicked though, Ben. In fairness,
that's really the point. That yours are distinctive. They stand out, and people will have a conversation about them just because it's different. Different gets eyes on, gets conversation, gets mouths moving. I completely take your point though. 100%. Building brand awareness is about familiarity with that brand. I say to you, you know, what's your favorite cola brand? Most people think of 1 or 2 because of the natural familiarity you have with those 2 well-established brands. Taking a new brand into a new area, you need to saturate market saturation if you can, layered marketing, whatever approach you want to take. But Scott, what boards the most, because you look like you were going to say something when Ben was going. What do you think the most important marketing?
Well, it depends. Sometimes when I get these questions, I might take the statement too literally, but the person said are the most powerful. So I think they're useful. I just don't think they are the most powerful. So I don't want to take it too literally. I've been running my business for 4 years. I don't have boards. There you go.
I should have gone with this one first.
Now the reason look at Ben's literally.
Imagine if you did, Scott.
In all honesty, that wasn't a strategic move. It was just on my to-do list for about 9 months. I never got around to it, and then before I knew it, I just had kind of made this sort of thing where it wasn't a thing. So yeah, I don't have boards and haven't done for 4 years. This might be where, you know, attacking the market differently from a self-employed point of view. You know, I'm looking to have 7 or 8 boards up over quite a large area at any given time. So actually, the investment in boards for me, and frankly the pain in the backside of moving them around, replacing them, making sure they were always upright, kind of was outweighed by the fact that they weren't really going to ever saturate a market. So actually, I don't think people really would have noticed. But I am going to go back to the fact it was not a strategic maneuver. It was on my to-do list for a very long time. I just didn't get around to doing it. I think socials have overtaken it. If we're going to talk about the most powerful brand, like if I said to you now, you could only have social media or only have a board, I think we might all be saying we'd probably rather have our socials.
Yeah.
But I'm possibly taking the statement a little bit too literally.
Well, yeah, but we fall into the same category, Scott. That's why I pulled that one up, because if you take it exactly as the most powerful marketing tool, I think there's a lot of really, really powerful marketing tools. Social, yeah, certainly. Portals, we already discussed. The different marketing work your team do, and you know, I regard my team as the best marketing tool we have actually. But that's a bit, you know, let's not get cliche and naff and cheesy. All right, well, I like it. Ben is all about the boards. Scott doesn't even have any boards. So that's the sort of different opinion, but both run good businesses, and it proves. Actually, the other thing to consider is in some areas you can't. Some areas where we operate, you can't have boards anyway. You know, if you're in cities, it's really, really difficult to get that to get them approved or get them up for more than 24 hours. Okay, nice. Sarah, just to confirm, you were very all in on boards.
Yeah, definitely.
Massive,
I love my boards. And
it's
not a vanity thing. It's not a vanity thing. I've gone all American but I actually posted something on LinkedIn with a board, and my board going up, and it just, the amount of comments and stuff on social and on the groups on social media with my mug on it, and if you're driving past and you see that, I mean, the colours are pink and grey. I love pink and grey, but it's that, and what Ben was saying, that's something I want to prone into now, is hello where I live, you know, hello Goffs Oak, hello Cuffley, that, because I'm quite well known in it, and that would be brilliant if I did that. And I've got a lot of people around here. I've got footballers around here, and I've got Beckham's mum and dad across the road. I would just be ploughing all those balls down there and saying,
when it comes to branding and marketing, I think if we all just sort of copied what Ben did, you know, Bengi, I think we'd all do pretty well. Yeah, because it's phenomenal stuff. And I've told you that privately as well, mate, haven't I? This is not for the benefit of the podcast.
I love you, Ben. I love you. Ben, I love you.
Well, we hugged, didn't we? The first time we met, I think we embraced for quite a considerable amount of time. Actually,
okay,
nothing to do with the nothing to do with the alcohol.
BMI.
This is interesting. These sessions, I say sessions, they fall into some weird category where they become a bit of a love you sort of thing going on. All right, let's move forward. So I'll hand over to each of you for a couple of minutes now. We're going to do our great agent we've worked with, or really it's just a chance to shout out a really good agent. You don't have to have worked with them. I've seen them from afar. You might appreciate the work they're doing, appreciate what they're doing for the industry. So shout out a great agent. And then I'd like you to offer one piece of advice you'd offer to agents working right now in the industry, sort of navigating what's reasonably choppy water. Not, you know, the end of the world stuff, but it can be quite confusing out there right now. There's lots and lots of different news media saying different things, quoting opinion rather than data and fact. And then maybe a bit of, you know, sort of what you see for the rest of 2023. We're into the final quarter, which is terrifying how we've got here already. And then we'll sign off. So, Scott, should we start with you? Great agent, great piece of advice rest of the year?
All right, you might have to remind me those as we go through them. You know, I've gone backwards and forwards with who I wanted to shout out to, because it turns out there's a lot of people I respect in our industry. But if I was going to name, it would be a pair, which is it's Ian and Michael at Avocado. I know them both socially now, but that's because I've made a conscious effort to get to know them. I think I've respected them for a long time. We talk regularly. I think the business they've grown, you know, having started in around the time of the pandemic with what seems to be no external funding, they're one of the most recognizable brands probably in the industry. If anyone's asked, I nearly didn't shout them out because they get shouted out so much, and I actually had to talk myself into the fact that that's not a good enough reason for me not to, you know, admit that I've got a lot of admiration for them. I like them both, and more importantly, I trust them both. So, yeah, I think Ian and Michael are great.
Lovely. Like and trust, two important words.
And rare in our industry, I think it's probably fair to say.
That's I guess where I was going to go with that. Great advice. Rest of 2023. What do you reckon?
No one would ever pay for me for my consultancy and estate agency, because it's always the same thing. It's just I think particularly in times of stress and in times of hardship, which I think we would probably say we're in right now, is just to stick to the basics. It's to talk to your vendors. It's to talk to your buyers. It's to make those calls you don't want to make. It's not right now to be trying to chase the shiny silver object that looks like it's really exciting. It's to do the boring things every day. And just stick to the basics, and they will pay off.
Completely agree. Basics, especially after the last few years. Get the fundamentals nailed. And what do you think for the rest of the year? How do you see it?
Well, look, I mean, it certainly seems to be an upward tick. I know that anecdotally, I've sold a couple of properties that I've had sticking around for a little while that I've sort of felt like should go, that have gone recently. So it feels as if it could be a better last quarter than certainly the last 3 months. I've always had it in my head that people were just going to get the summer out of the way. I think, again, when times get tough and the bit of sun comes out, I think it's very easy for people to say, well, let's just go out and enjoy that. And I think that now the kids are back to school, I think we could have a good couple of months. The rates seem to be going in the right direction. I think agents have readjusted their mindset as well, which I think is massive. I think vendors have readjusted their mindset, which always takes a period of time. So I'm pretty confident about the last quarter, and I'm very, very confident about 2024, quite frankly.
Good. Lovely. Well, I think a lot of people will really appreciate what you've just said there, because I think the last few months for a lot of agents, having spoken to them, was a bit tricky. Yep. And actually, having spoken to a load of agents in the last 24 hours, loads weren't available this morning because
too busy.
There's activity, which is good. You know, September, kids are back at school. You know, you say the sun comes out, let's find a distraction. Now the distractions have been parked and it's back to life. So, yeah, I think that's a really good comment, Scott. Sarah, who's your agent of choice you're going to shout out?
I'm going to agree with Scott here.
Oh,
I've met the pair of them at a Spurs football match for the first time about a year and a half ago, and they're great guys, and I follow them as well, and I follow everything they do, their marketing, the way they come across online, the way they are, what they do for the industry, and I just watch and admire them from afar. And I've told them that again, told them not privately hug them like you've done with Ben, but I've told them that to their face as well. The way the way they've been and been consistent with it all as well. They're just genuinely nice guys. And that's it. That's the long and short of it. They're just nice guys.
And the admiring them from afar, it's not in a bush outside their house. It's it's professional.
No, I've installed the cameras. There's an actual bush.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
From afar.
Okay, well that is a podcast first. 2 guests shouting out the same people.
Definitely.
Listen, it won't be a hat trick because Ben's about 5 miles down the road from him.
Ben's trying to play it cool. Great advice. And what do you think for the final quarter of 2023, Sarah?
So again, we've had a rocky road. Going back, I mean, people don't know what I do behind the scenes. I've got what I do as an agent. I also help build up people's brands. So this is what I'm currently doing at the moment. And they're going through a little bit of a tricky time of it and going all Hollywood, as I would say, before they could do anything else. So it's just like Scott said, just get back to your basics. Don't spend more than you need to spend, and just be consistent with it, because people are falling off the hurdles. And again, I've trained agents through COVID to be self-employed. I love it, and to be successful. And just again, it's just don't forget who you are, and just be that person and just carry on with it. We're all going to have tough times. We've gone through so much, with COVID, Brexit. I mean, mortgage rates, everything. You can name so many. There's so many excuses. It's how you bounce back off that. And yes, it is picking up. I've sold quite a few off market, and I've sold quite a few land deals as well. Resi, yes, it's been a bit sticky for me. But again, people are revisiting and they're paying what they're paying. I'm not getting any depreciation on value because you're pricing it right to start with. But yeah, for me, I think I've been quite lucky, but I could sell ice to an Eskimo. So
gifted a Gabb, Sarah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So overriding feedback though is keep pushing on, stay true to your brand, and be sensible on spending.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good advice. Ben, over to you for the big finish. Thankfully, you're not going to drop the avocado team as your please. I can't have I like the guys, but I can't have a hat trick. It's too much. We have to change the name of the show. Who would your agent be, Ben?
Okey-doke. Yep, you're right. I'm not going to, but they are great guys. But there's an agent who has recently left a very decent agency called Archer & Co. and gone out on his own with Scott's gang over at EXP, and his name's Pelosi-Buchanan. And I've met him a few times. We've spoken a lot about estate agency, and I love it when I meet estate agents who love estate agency. I think there's too many people that are apologetic about it, and this is a guy who has bravely gone out on his own, from a very, very good job, and I think he's doing it for all the right reasons, and I think he's brilliant. So that's my shout out. I think he's very recently joined EXP, from what I understand, Scott, but he's great.
Yeah, Alex is a really good guy. He's been on the podcast. I've done sessions with him in the past. The reason I laughed, you said you spoke to him a lot, is because I've spoken to him a lot as well. He does love a chat, an agency chat. And he does love a Alex, I'm sure you're going to be watching this because you're going to get tagged. Can you just check out my video? That's or what do you think about this video? But like you said, the line I take away is for all the right reasons. He's a good guy, and I think he's going to randomly, I know the town he's going to be working at, Abergavenny. I think he's going to do really, really, really well. So good luck to him. And then great piece of advice for agents, current climate, what you see for the last quarter of the year, Ben.
Okay, great piece of advice. Now is the time to build your market share. Now's the time where we've seen people struggling, and now's the time, in my opinion, to spend more on marketing to make sure that you're getting your brand out there in front of people. It's a good market. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's not as good as it has been, and I think we're still in for a tough quarter, frankly. But spend more on marketing, make sure that you are getting your brand in front of people. But with our people in the business, train them, empower them with knowledge, give them more credibility. We've been through a period of a bit of certainly up until a year ago, where you've been a bit of an order taker. You haven't had to do a lot, and we've had to spend the last year training some young people in the industry, how to do it properly. And that's what our job is as leaders in the industry, is to make sure that we create future leaders around us. And we can only do that by telling them the bits, those tiny bits of advice about how you conduct a viewing, or how you go about it, justifying your fee on evaluation, or whatever it may be. We've got to empower people with knowledge. So I think that's certainly my bit of advice for people. Get your people up to speed with what's going on in the economy, with how to do the job properly.
Good.
I think what's the rest of the year, I think it's not going to be an easy ride. It's going to be easier than the last 3 months. But if you've got great people in your business and you're leading them with passion, there's absolutely no reason that we shouldn't build that pipeline, which we need to be. We need to nurture and love our pipelines at the moment, because there's a lot of wobbles out there. Get your pipeline exchanged, build your market share, and go into 24 with a healthy register.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've just said. What I think is really important, just to make the point, is quite a lot on the podcast. We have sort of independent agents or self-employed agents or personal agents. We have less and less leaders of brands. And Ben, I would regard your business as a brand. It's a more established sort of traditional estate agency model. Ben's advice: get out there, grow your market share. It's the sort of advice I would be talking to my team about now, because we work in a more traditional format. We should spend on our marketing. We should grow our market share. We should take the opportunity here, because the market now is the best it's ever been for a bit of growth. Best it's ever been. Best it's been in the last few years. But if you're a solo agent and you're considering costs, and you're not a market share agent, which lots and lots and lots of agents across the country are not now, then Scott's and Sarah's would be much more relevant to you. So I think it's worth pointing out that depending on who you are and what you are, there's something to take away from what everyone has said there. All of it really, really works. It just depends on the approach you want to take at the time. Great agent shouted out. We got 3 though, because you guys listed off both the guys at Avocado, so that's good. Second, final quarter. Sorry, Ben, that's your final point was you look after the pipeline and build it for the start of for the next year. If I could reference our own experience, we finished 2022 with the worst pipeline in my entire estate agency career. I've never had such a slim pipeline going into 2023. And I can say hand on heart, that was a really tough 4 or 5 months. Could we have done much more? No, I don't think so. Actually, circumstances is what it is, and it was a new business and we're building whatever we want to do. But in order to help you enjoy 2024, I would just advise work your arse off for the next 3 months, 4 months. And yeah, you described it as hand in hold, quality communication. Scott, you referenced it earlier on. I don't think they're tough calls, and I think we need to be careful around language, because for some reason, estate agents say the vendor management call, the difficult call, that's our job. That's just the job. Those calls, we should love those jobs. If you enjoy those calls, you're the best agent in your town. So learn to love them. And it sounds, I don't want to get say cheesy all the time. I'm not saying love things that are unpleasant, but that's just the gig. If you do that well, you're winning. So yeah, absolutely great advice today, guys. 3 great guests, and I'm just going to pat myself on the back because it's 2 minutes to 12.
Well done, Ben.
I've just quarterbacked this thing. I've just, pulling strings. I'm delighted. We're going to get Sarah away to where she needs to be on time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You 3 have been brilliant. I'm going to have all of you back on, though, because the longer version chat is always fun, and I feel like I have rushed you a little bit today. We're going to sign off now, hand over to Chris for his Watkins Whimsy of the week, and we'll just say goodbye. Cheers, guys.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
All right, take care.
Thanks, guys.
Growing a estate and letting agents is almost like being on a train. When you leave the platform, it takes off and it feels like you're going really, really quick. But when you get up to speed to 125 miles an hour, those outside the train look like you're going really quickly. but those, whilst you're in the train, it appears really, really slow. And I think that's what's important in life is it's not how quick the train is going, it's how quick you're going in the train.